All right, gonna jump in another Swiss draft and be back when it kicks. All right, here we go. Again, stay in Swiss, stop the slow bleed. All right, what have we got? Jumping out right at me is Dwinin Guiltleaf Dane. Solid card. Nothing game breaking, but if you do get a whole bunch of elves, then fantastic. It's a shame I'm passing a Leaf Gilder here. That's just a really great green card. It's a 2-drop, 2 power, and it's ramp. All these things are fantastic in the format. I'm going to reserve Dwinin. If you watch other videos, something you'll notice that's different is I have mine set up. Excuse me. I have mine set up for sorting by color. So you can sort by name, you can sort by color, converted mana cost. Most people have it set up by rarity. That does serve a purpose because if you see that an uncommon has been taken, then you can narrow it down. I mean, there's only a few uncommons that are going to be better than a lot of the commons, or a lot of the rares. But I like to sort by color. That way, the first thing I can look at is what have I got and what is open in that color. Llanowar Empath. It's an elf. It's green. That sounds great. But I'm looking up at black here. I'm seeing Eyeblight Massacre. The elf deck is black-green, and that is a great card in it. It's kind of a nerfed board wipe, but even a nerfed board wipe is really good. A lot of the cards in this format have 2 toughness. They're 2-drops, and they're just not going to survive that. Reeve's Soul is really good, and I hate passing that, but I think I'm going to stick with the Eyeblight Massacre. I don't like doing this, which is going right into 2 colors, and I'm going to have to be willing to jump ship on one of them if there's just nothing in there. But these 2 are fantastic cards, but neither of them are in color with my first one. Yeah, so I'm just going to take the possible board wipe over the other options. Okay. Here I'm looking at Rocks Maulers. Keeps me in green. They're a great card. Looking at Citadel Castellan, which is just fantastic. I mean, it's a 2/3 Vigilant 3-drop. Renown 2. If you're able to kick that off, that really does some work for you. Otherwise, in green, Hitchclaw Recluse is I think it's a better card than a lot of people probably do. Scob Goliath is also really good if you're in blue, but I don't think it's enough better than anything in the pack. In fact, I don't even think it is necessarily better than anything else in the pack for me to start going blue. So I have to make the choice between Citadel Castellan for power and Rocks Maulers for ease of casting. And I'm going to go Rocks Maulers. White gets fought over a whole lot in this format. Eyeblight Assassin is an elf. It's a 3-drop. I do need to start finding some 2-drops. Rocks Maulers, clearly more powerful than Eyeblight Assassin, but having curve is important. This is weak removal. I mean, especially if you pair it up with Eyeblight Massacre. Get something -3, -3. There's not a whole lot that's going to survive that. Other cards that I like in this pack, I really like Dead Kids. Blessed Spirits is a 2/2 flyer for 3, which is not bad at all. Bonus if you get in that black-white enchantment deck. Otherwise, Pricklebore is also really good in an aggro, white-red deck. Nissa's Pilgrimage is good if you're looking to ramp into big stuff, which green loves to do. But if I do go with the elf deck, which is what I'm leaning towards right now, and I'm not seeing, you're looking at a lot of 2 and 3 drops, so you don't need to ramp into that. Now, if I get a Gaia's Revenge or, something like that. If I end up with 3 Rock Maulers, then yeah, I'm going to start looking at Nissa's Pilgrimage. But for now, Read the Bones is going to be the pick. Read the Bones, any deck you're playing black, you want at least one of those. It's filtering, it's card draw. Caustic Caterpillar is something I might looking for in the sideboard. Undercity Troll, coming this late. I mean, that's 6th pick. That is a fantastic card. It's a 2-drop that becomes a 3-drop with Renown, has regeneration. It's expensive regeneration, but does more work than you would think. So that's definitely the pick, and that I feel tells me that green should be pretty open. There's a Disperse in here. There's a Grasp of the Hieromancer, both solid cards. Dragon Fodder is not very good in this format. 1/1s just don't do enough for you. Now I'm looking at either Vastwood Gorger or Bounding Krasis. Bounding Krasis would be something that I would be bringing in for a splash. It is a very good card. It's a 3/3 with flash that either taps or untaps something, but you really try not to splash a 3rd color in this format. Goldforge Sentinel is also something to look into. It is a 4/4 flyer for 6. Not terribly efficient, but it's tough to deal with those 4/4 flyers in this format. Vastwood Gorgers will come back. I mean, I will have access to them, as you can see right here. But I won't have Bounding Krasis come back. Gotta read this one. Again, that's something that you want. More of a rampy strategy. But I just want to see if it's worth anything. It's not. I'm just going to take the Vastwood Gorger. Curve Topper. Sideboard the Caustic Caterpillar. Nothing here for me whatsoever. I'll hate on the Blazing Hellhound. Touch of Moonglove thematically works. Moonglove is from the Lorwyn block. Lorwyn is the plane the elves are from, and this is what the Winnowers and stuff equip on their blades. I've got 2 elves in my deck, but I'm still going to take it. It's a good way for me to deal with creatures that otherwise rip me to shreds. What am I worried about here? Really none of them. I'll sideboard that just so the red deck gets stuck on stuff. Sure. Not playing that. Not leading these packs. There's a lot that gets dumped. So I only got 8 cards out of that pack. Well, 7 really. Now there's 7 cards that I'm pretty happy with. But hopefully pack 2 treats me pretty well. I didn't send anything. Well, I did send some good green stuff. That Leaf Gilder. Alright. Somberwald Alpha is a fantastic card. I really like that. Elvish Visionary is better with the elves. But if I'm going green-black, the fact, I mean, Somberwald Alpha is far enough better than Elvish Visionary to, you know, make up the difference between the fact that this is an elf and it might survive Eye Blight, and it might work with Dwynnin. Stalwart Elven is a great card. Good 3-drop. Not going to take it. Not going into white. That is not good enough to put me in white. Eye Blight Assassin, again, I like. If it wheels, I'll probably take that. If the Visionary or the Assassin wheel, I'm taking them. Foundry of the Consuls is good, but Somberwald Alpha is good plus. Alright. Woof. This pack is full of junk for me. Just straight up junk. What is Caves of Koilos worth? Less than a ticket, but Aerial Volley is just sideboard. I don't want to be playing a Return Centaur. Return Centaur will wheel if it comes down to it. I mean, there's just a... That's incredibly replaceable. So I can look at taking the caves for a possible splash, or I can hate on some of this red. I think I'm going to hate on the Fiery Impulse, because... I mean, hate drafting is bad. It doesn't promote your deck in any way, but there's just nothing here for me. Alright. There's some red coming my way. This Scabclown Berserker is good. Again, not incredible, but it's really good. I could take Thornbow Archer. It's an elf. It's a 1-drop. Everybody hates it, but I've seen it do some damage. I mean, it's 1 mana, usually gets 3 or 4 damage in. Timberpack Wolf is a good card, especially if you can get it in multiples. It's a bear. This format loves bears. I only have 2 for now. I'm going to take the Alpha, or the Timberpack Wolf. I mean, there's part of me that wants to grab that Scabclan, but not going to start that fight. Alright, maybe either this pack is terrible, or I'm going to have to jump into a second color here, or a different color. None of the green cards are left. I mean, Reclaim is there, but that's a terrible card. Separatist Void Mage is here. I've got nothing really to support it. I think I'd take the Goldforged Sentinel. It's a 6-drop, but it's colorless. And I'm still fingers crossed that something else is going to come through. Well, here's options. Nissa's Revelation, which I have done serious work with before, but right now, so it's 7 mana, and I've got 4 creatures that make it worthwhile. It's either that or a Shambling Ghoul. None of the other colors here seem to be really great. See, my conflict here is Shambling Ghoul for the low drop, which will be more replaceable than the power of this card. I'm going with the powerful card over... Well, and now I'm going to take the Nissa's Pilgrimage, because now I do need to start getting some ramp going on. I like Blightcaster, but I'm playing black-green. Not a whole lot of enchantments. Shadows of the Past is an enchantment. I would be happy to play it. But I think it's going to be more important for me to get up to my 5 and 6 drops. Alright. So I look at Nantuko Husk or Way to the Underworld. Those are the cards I have in black. A Crone Sergeant shouldn't be here. Yeah, I should have moved into red. But I think at this point I'm going to take the 3-drop. I'll take another Nissa's Pilgrimage. Yeah, if I'd gone blue, I could have done the Bounding Krasis again. I mean, who doesn't want a flashy fish lizard? Yep. Alright. And there is absolutely nothing here. I'll take a mantle for the sideboard in case I run into the Thopter deck. I will put a Fiery Conclusion into the sideboard. I will... yeah, return Centaur. Okay. Infernal Scarring could help me go more aggro. I'll throw that in there. I hate the counterspell and the mill. The vampire that was in there was just, I mean, way inferior to my other high casting cost spells, and I really don't want many more than this, even though I do have Nissa's Revelation. Gaia's Revenge or Outland Colossus would be sweet, or Hangerback Walker will help me pay for the draft. I will never not take Hangerback Walker unless there is a Jace or a foil Hangerback Walker. Right now it's worth about 10 tickets. Jace is worth 31. Nissa's worth about 15. Hangerback Walker goes at every deck. If you think it doesn't, you forget that I have Nantuko Husk. So I can cast that as whatever it needs to be. Sack to the Nantuko Husk and just flood the board with X1 or 1/1s. Sack them if it gets through. Green is kind of dried up, so I'm not expecting Pharika's Disciple to come back. The black in this pack is pretty weak. I don't expect to see anything that I care to play. But getting a Walker, that's good enough for me. Okay. Now I've got decisions to make. I could do a Fleshbag Marauder, Deadbridge Shaman. I mean, all three of these black cards are playable. Elvish Visionary is also very playable. I think I'm going to go with the Elvish Visionary. Pharika's Disciple is very good. And, I mean, really, these three black cards I would be happy to pick. And these three green cards I would be happy to pick. I don't have enough low drops to make Warhorn something I care about. I do need more 2-drops, and I do need the Elvish Visionary. For the card draw, yeah, I think that's the route I'm going to go. Hixus, huh? How is Hixus still here? Is there no one drafting white? He's probably worth nothing. Yeah. So I'm not going to rare draft him. Man, the white in this pack is crazy. But I'm going to take the Elvish Visionary. Again, Rabid Bloodsucker. Not what I want to spend 5 mana on doing. But Hixus, my god. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 13. So this is only third pick. But it's clear that, you know, these two people have no interest in white. Neither do I. So, are you kidding me? Suppression Bonds? Animus Awakening is something that in Constructed, you know, go for it, but here I think I'm going to take the Hitchclaw Recluse. Like I said before, it does more work than a lot of people think it does. I have no removal. I need to find some removal. Hey, there's removal. Throwing Knife. Colorless. Boosts your attack power. It only does 2 damage, but that's still better than everything else I've got except for Eyeblight Massacre and Eyeblight Assassin. Probably not going to play the Infernal Scarring. Definitely going to take Throwing Knife here. Nada. Orbs of Warding. Where are they at? Way down there. Gather the pack. I'm going to take my Makar Waltz over the Gather the Pack, because the Gather the Pack lets me gamble. This is insane. There's a white deck in this draft that is just pissing himself. Probably this guy here. Well, I need to take the Weight of the Underworld. I like Cullblade, but I absolutely need the removal. Even if it's not great removal. I need the Titanic Growth. I've got no combat tricks. I have 13 creatures. That's not enough to trigger Angel's Tomb reliably. So I don't need a second Macabre Waltz. Dark Dabbling isn't going to turn on reliably for me. So I'm just going to take the Waltz sideboard so no one can drop that Omni. I've already got a Return Centaur if I wanted one of those. I'm going to take the Deadbridge Shaman. It's an elf and it's just a really solid 3-drop. Gonna hang down the Cleric with a forward order. How many creatures do I have that will trigger 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7? Yeah, we'll see. Probably won't make the cut, but it's possible. Well, considering I'm only cutting one card from this, it's got a very strong chance of making the cut. So this didn't turn out very well. I have a lot of weak little creatures and not a whole lot to go with them. So I can't really afford to cut any of the creatures. You always want to be running at, around 15 to 17 creatures is kind of the golden rule. I only have three double mana spells. Nissa's Revelation, Dwynnin, and the Eyeblight Massacre. So a light splash for Bounding Krasis is not ridiculous. I would have liked to have gotten a Evolving Wilds, but I just don't think that it brings enough to risk the inconsistency of having it just sitting there doing nothing. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 creatures that have power greater, 3 or greater, to trigger Elemental Bond. And they're fairly, they start as early as turn 3. I think I'm going to give it a try. I want to see how it plays out. And I think what I'm going to get rid of is Macabre Waltz. Is this what I go with? This just needs big creatures in my deck. That also needs big creatures and elves in my deck. This will almost always be for 2. And I think I do want 2 of them just to make sure I get one of them to hit my land drops. But I'm not going to be triggering Spell Mastery very often. So what am I looking at? I'm probably going to be looking at 9-8 Forest Swamp. Or is this actually... No, this is a 10-7 deck. Because I only have 2, 4, 6 black spells that I'm going to be casting. Do I bring in red? I mean, I know the answer is no, but... It's a lot of green with no Wild Instincts. None of that green removal. 11-6 is too much. 10-7 is where I'm going to go with it. I'm going to submit that. And then